Good morning, everyone. It's Lennon, and I'm sitting here drinking my coffee, and I was like reading this book, the guidebook that comes with the Hoodoo Tarot, and I really have been wanting to work with this deck for many reasons, really, but when I bought this, at first, I thought I was buying it for a specific reason. But the reason that I actually pushed the buy now button was because of the backs of this deck. This beautiful outline here, the southeast, which is my place on the world, my place on the map, right here. Georgia, where I was born, where I was raised. I was raised in these lands. I've hardly ever left the Southeast, to be honest with you. I was raised poor, so we hardly ever left. We only went on one family vacation in my childhood, I guess you could say. And it happened to be the weekend that we were going to go up for, 2 days to Tennessee, to the mountains. Because that's what you do here. When you want to go to vacation in the South, you go to the mountains. You go stay in a cabin in the mountains. Okay? So we were going to go do that, but it happened to be the weekend that Princess Diana died. So we didn't get to do anything that weekend but sit in the hotel room and watch the news. So that didn't really, didn't really end up being a vacation of sorts. But this is my land, right? My ancestors aren't from here originally. My paternal ancestors are Native American. My grandmother was this raven-haired beauty. God, she was a force to be reckoned with. I don't really know what my mom's ancestry is. Hopefully one day I'll be able to look that up. But anyway, this is my land, right? And the skeleton key has always been my symbol. Ever since I was a little girl, I had found one, and I still have it. Actually, I found one in the dirt. I still have it. Isn't that insane? So those two things right there, the key and the Southeast, is what made me buy this deck. And the amazing thing that has come out of this is that I have seen in my life a lot of the people depicted in these cards. Like, there's actual ones in this deck from history, okay? So I don't want that to be a confusion. I'm talking just in terms of looks, in terms of the hat wear, right? Like the Sunday hats, we call them here. And the food and the herbs, like, I'm familiar with all that. Maybe not in this sense, like in a root worker hoodoo sense, but I recognize some of the things. Being from the South. Being this poor little girl that went around collecting herbs. So for this video, okay, I wanted to do Gonna Catch a Bird spread, which is 5 cards. It's a 5-card spread, okay? I do like in the guidebook here where Tiana, she goes through and does like a fake reading to kind of help map out the reading. I think that is so helpful when creators do that because, like, she has this imaginary person asking a question, and then No clarifying cards were necessary, so that means she didn't pick any extra cards, things like that. And then she goes into each of the spread positions, what was picked, you know, like, because here's the reading, right? Jesse's reading. And then what these cards mean in terms of the reading. So that's very, very helpful. And she has a few more spreads in here that are really, really good too. And I wanted to do this one, the root of the problem. I'm calling it like it's the root of the problem. So there's a problem, what needs to be done, like what you need the most. There's a compromise, things like that. Because I want to use another deck, an oracle deck, along with the reading. Now, when we talk about like ancestor work, spirit work, things like that, we want them to be able to speak to us through the cards, right, in a reading. Generally speaking, even if, like me, I don't really work with spirits that way. I work with them more abstractly, but I do believe that they talk to us. I do believe that they communicate with us, I'll say, and to be more specific. And there's a new oracle deck that I got that I'm wanting to try out. And I thought, what better way to try out this dark-ass oracle deck than to use the Hoodoo Tarot? Maybe let's, to put the pun out there, let's conjure some shit up. So, I don't know how personal or how difficult this reading will be. Well, we're going to give it a shot. And I'm going to introduce you to some of my other doodads when we get into it. So I'm going to set this book aside so that I can kind of read what's going on. Shuffle the deck. I mean, look at that. That's just, the deck's pretty much shuffled because I've been working with it. But we're going to do it for aesthetic purposes, I guess you could say. The cardstock on this, not that I was given a review here, but the cardstock in this is like paper, so it's really easily shuffleable. The artwork in this deck is phenomenal. Like, I'm going to go over the spread positions. Position 1 is the root of the problem. Position 2, what I need most. Position 3 is what blank needs most. Position 4, how we go about making a compromise. And the final outcome. Okay. All right, I guess move these down a little. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful spread? Let me take a sip of coffee. Ten of Sticks is the root of the problem, right? Overwhelm. That's an overwhelm card for me. So if overwhelm is the problem, what do I need most? The Devil? Then I'm at risk, really, because it says what I need the most, and the Devil came up. But really, I think what that's trying to tell me is that if I don't take care of this now, it can only get worse. It'll only trap me in the end. The sticks will just keep piling up and piling up and piling up. Then in the third position, it says what blank needs the most, right? This could be talking about another person, since this is a court card, the Father of Knives. But the Father of Knives in this deck is like assertiveness, right? So if I'm talking about myself, because this is a reading for myself, then this is the attributes I need in order to make this not happen, in order for me not to feel overwhelmed again or anymore. And so I need to concentrate on these problems, and it's getting worse, or I'm trapped by the overwhelm. I can't seem to get out of the cycle, and I need to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more focused, You see right here in the guidebook, it says he is assertive, intellectual, ethical, analytical, mature, a just leader. Okay, see, if I wanted to embody some of these attributes of this card to help me with this, then this is what I need to do the most. I need to be a little bit more mature about the situation and a little bit more intelligent about the situation. What do I know of the problem? Think about that. Think about it in a more logical way instead of an emotional way. And then maybe I can unburden myself, right? With this Judgment centering these two Knife court cards, that plays a huge role for me here too, because in the fourth position, it says how we go about making a compromise, and it's literally in between two Knife court cards. Now, Dim Bones is the Judgment card, right, in this deck. And it's about your needs, not your wants. So in my case, I have to figure out what my needs are because I'm concentrating on it all at this moment. My needs and my wants. Maybe my wants are so much that that's what's burdening me or overwhelming me. And I'm concentrating too much on my wants and not so much on my needs. And in order to get out of that, I have to be a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more logical and mature about the situation, right? Then I'll be able to ascertain what my needs are and go forth with that. Now, in the last position, it says the final outcome, but I'm looking at all three of these cards as like a group, not necessarily the final outcome, but it could be as well. When you read about the Daughter of Knives in the guidebook right here, it says swift delivery of messages, which we all know is a good like Page of Swords message. But it says logical, quick-witted, action-oriented, well-informed, philosophical, always up for a challenge, right? So maybe this is saying that the final outcome is that right now, maybe right now I'm being the daughter, and by trying to ascertain what my needs are versus my wants to unburden myself, I need to embody the father more. The Father of Knives here, not the daughter, which is who I am now. The final outcome is maybe there's some rudeness. Maybe I'm not like rudeness for self. Maybe by focusing more on my wants instead of my needs, I'm not taking care of myself. There's an insensitivity there towards myself. And only until I mature myself can I unburden myself, and it won't get worse. But I have to be logical and intellectual about the situation. Okay, that's very good. Now, I wanted to share two more things with you, like kind of in relation to this. I am a charm caster in like a barest way possible. Like, it's very rare for me to cast, but sometimes I do get an inkling. Sometimes with specific tarot decks, I like to throw my charms down. And only when I'm called. If I'm not called, I won't get them out. But today, working with the Hoodoo Tarot and knowing that I'm going to get this Dark Oracle deck out, I felt called to get my charms out. Now, my charms sit in this lovely handmade matchbox. I'll leave the link to Matchbox Muses Instagram, I guess. She has an Etsy shop. Her name is Christy. And she makes these matchboxes that hold different... They can hold charms. They can hold... I mean, it can hold matches. But she decorates these, and it's mostly for any purpose. And I decided to use my charms. Now, what I've done is I put some of my charms that are special to me in the matchbox. And then I wrote a little, like a paper with one keyword on them as like what they mean. And there's a way that I cast them, but we will that'll be a whole other video. So I wanted to cast the charms. My family always blows on dice before it's like a superstition thing. So I had gotten into the habit of doing that with my charms as well. Okay. Well, if they're upside down, I don't use them. They're in between cards. I don't use them. Look at that. Now that's a lot of charms that ended up in this reading. Now I have the lantern, which for me means light. I have the dice, and for me, it's just whatever number. If the dice is usable in the reading, then it's just the number. So the number is 2. And art is creativity, like whatever that means to me. And then I have a crystal here that means spirit, and a ring could mean some kind of like relationship or love or something like that. Like it's kind of like a wedding band, like a commitment, I guess you say. Now, in terms of a tarot reading, I go off the card that they land on as well. So with the crystal and the ring on dim bones, it could be a play on my needs. Like if this is love and spirit, then maybe there's something that I need to be doing with my relationship to spirit. Does that make sense? My need is to generate some things that'll help me in my relationship with spirit, which actually makes a lot of sense using this deck. And then for Father of Knives, what are ways in which I can better embody these attributes, these characteristics of the Father of Knives, right? Well, 2 is all about balance. So again, we're balancing out needs and wants. The lantern is light, which I can say this could be something like light work or something like shining the light onto something. Now with the lantern, I very much think of the hermit's kind of a lantern. So it's about shedding light on only that which you need at the moment, not necessarily everything. And then art could be using my creativity to get some of these attributes as well. What are some ways I can be a little bit more creative in finding this maturity, I guess you could say? How am I, and with also the 2, how am I finagling my art? Am I just doing art and forgetting to cook dinner, right? Those kinds of things. So I think of that, and then that's shining the light on that for me as well. Which also strengthens whatever the other charms are, the light. It's shining the light on them. So that was pretty good. All right. Now I'm going to get these charms out of the way. Okay. And I'll leave the charms for the reading up while I do this. This is the Dark Edition Truth Deck, which is, I believe, the whole name of it. The creators, the two women creators of the Truth decks came up with the Dark Edition, which is a very, very powerful ass dark oracle deck. And I guess I'll review this deck in a whole other video, but I really wanted, for some reason, to get it out today and use it. I've been using this for shadow work. And it's not playing around, okay? It's not playing around, folks. I usually pull one card in, like, with other tarot decks. Or I may be journaling about something, and then something will come out in my journaling, and I may pull just a card from this to get my motor running in terms of journaling. And that's actually been pretty helpful. But it's really, really hard to see some of these cards. It's really hard. I think there's like 50-something cards in this deck. So it's not, it's not very big, but it's just been, it's not been easy, folks. It's not been easy to work with this. But I think that's its purpose. I'm feeling called. Since most of the reading for me has been generating over here, like this is the outcome if I don't concentrate on this. Actually, it looks kind of backwards, doesn't it? But that's what I'm getting drawn to. So I'm feeling like I need to put a card here and a card here. Like there's two sides of the reading. Did I say this was the outcome? Even though this is supposed to be the outcome. Let's do this. All right, let me see if y'all can see that. Not really, so I'll move this up. Woo! Oh, my goodness. It's so hard to see these words. Oh. How powerful is it to see defensive with the devil? How powerful is that shit right there? To see the outcome here being this overwhelm, right? I'm getting trapped by it. But it's making me defensive. I'm pushing back on it. Right? Over here. With all this about, you know, I may have the qualities of the daughter of knives. Like I haven't gotten to the point of this to help me with this. I'm being thoughtless about it. And what did I say about being the father of knives? He's intellectual. I'm being completely thoughtless with this. That's something to concentrate on. Being thoughtless. Be more mindful. Look how hard it is to see. Oh my God. Look how hard it is to see what you are. You know, you can look at a whole tarot reading and still not be mindful of it. Still not allow it to beat you the hell up. These cards are gonna do it for you. These cards are gonna kick your ass. And I'm going to leave this up and actually journal with it a little bit more, because I do actually see some things from like real personal things in here that I need to be working through right now. So I will leave the link to where to purchase this Dark Edition. Go check out the two lovely ladies that are doing the truth decks. I think it's through Instagram. I'll leave their links below to the truth decks. And I hope to be working with the Hoodoo Tarot more. Okay. Also want to make a disclaimer here that the charms I use are in no way a relation of the charms or the cards or anything that are cast by root workers. I don't want to offend anyone. These are just my charms. I've made up how to do this all myself. So that's not in relation to the wonderful people included in this deck and the wonderful ancestors included in this deck. So I just want to put that out there too. So I hope to see everyone again. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this reading. Much love.